So I recently talked to a business owner recently, and he said something to me that absolutely blew my mind. He is an old consulting client. I used to consult him on marketing for his design agency. And the thing he said to me was so simple, so obvious that, most business owners overlook it and then wonder why they're not closing any more sales. So this business owner hired someone to do one job and one job only. And that person's job was to call every single lead that entered their ecosystem within 60 seconds. That's it. That was the only job this person was responsible for. Now, a lead, by the way, is someone who shows interest in whatever you are offering, products, services. They show interest. So in this case, they fill out a form on his website. And because of this one thing, this one hire, his closing rate went up to 72%. Not 72% of book calls, not 72% of ready to buy clients, 72% closing rate. So 72% of all of his leads, all the people who showed interest in what he was offering, he was closing them. And for context, most service providers and agencies are super happy when they get their closing rate up to 10, max 15%. He was closing 72%. So he is doing more than 4 times that just by implementing one thing, which is speed. And when you look at this most closely, it's not a fluke. The numbers back it up. Different studies shows that contacting a lead within 60 seconds as soon as they show interest, your chances of closing them goes up to more than 400%. And just let that sink in for a moment. It's not a small bump. This can transform your business. And when you put yourself in your leads' shoes, it makes complete sense what works. When someone takes action and shows their interest, whether it's through filling out a form on your website or sending you a DM, a message, or an email, or whether it's, liking or commenting under your LinkedIn post, for example, their interest is at its peak. They are showing you their interest. And every minute that you wait, that interest fades. And if you move fast, you can catch them before any distractions kick in. But if you wait too long, they're back to work, they're back at, scrolling, they're back at even worse, talking to your competitors, your faster competitors. Because in many industries, the first one to respond usually wins the sale. Because most businesses take hours, even days to respond to that interest. Now just imagine calling every single lead within 60 seconds. How many of your competitors would you beat? And there's one main thing that most businesses and service providers get wrong. They think because they're not closing enough for their company, they think that they have a marketing problem. So they invest more in ads, they invest more in SEO and content, hoping that getting more leads will fix the issue. But in reality, they don't have a marketing problem. They have a sales and closing problem. And before you spend another cent on marketing, you need to fix your backend, your sales backend. In getting a system that turns every single lead into client. For example, the system this business owner used was hiring someone to call every single lead within 60 seconds. That's the system. And calling within 60 seconds, you can see this as following up super fast. And the truth is no one follows up instantly. It's not because business owners don't want to. It's that it's not realistic for you or one of your team members to drop everything and respond to every single lead you get 24/7 the second they come in. We're all busy. We might be in meetings. We might even miss the notification entirely. But every time that happens, every single lead gets colder and colder and colder and colder until they're gone forever. And I've seen so many businesses spend so much money on ads every single month, hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads, just to let 80% of all of the leads they get slips through the crack just because they didn't follow up fast enough. Now, what if instead of hiring a full-time employee to call or contact every single lead as soon as they show their interest, what if you had a system, an automated system that would do just that? A system that would, whenever someone becomes a lead, so show their interest, so fills out a form on your website or send you a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn or comment under your post on LinkedIn. Anyway, someone who shows their interest, no matter the form it takes. What if this system, as soon as someone shows their interest, send them every single lead you get, send them a personalized message to each of them within 60 seconds. To start a conversation with all of your leads, and the goal of that conversation would be to understand their pain points, to discover what they're looking for, and out of those 2 responses, actually recommend the best services you offer. And from there, the lead either books a call with your team or buys directly, all without you or any of your team members having to lift a finger. And this system would use AI to not have generic replies, to have really tailored responses to each of the lead. It's like every single lead would get a personal shopping assistant just for them. And the system would also be programmed to speak in your brand's voice. So once again, so there's no generic or robotic replies. So no two leads are treated the same. Every single lead kind of get, like I said, their personal shopping assistant, and everything is tailored to them. Now, my question to you is, how does this sound? How does having a system like this would change your company? Because this is exactly the system that me and my team have built over the past few months. And it's specifically designed that you make sure that you never ever miss a lead and that you close more sales, all without adding extra effort for you and your team, all without, spending more money on marketing. So if you're tired of watching all of your leads go cold after you've spent so much time, energy, and money on getting them, and you want a simple, reliable system to fix that, you can book a call with me or one of my team members in the first link in the description. On the call, we'll review your current process, ask you a few questions, and see if our system is a match for your business. And once again, it's not a sales call. I won't try to, or me and my team members won't try to sell you anything. We won't try to push for sales. Just a call to, get to know each other and make sure it's the right fit for the system, is the right fit for you, and if working together is right fit as well. So go ahead, click the first link in the description, and I'll see you on the call.